Jane Low, and I'm at the Singapore International Cyber Week 2023 Golf Wear here in Marina Bay Sands, Singapore. And with me today, I'm very, very pleased and very privileged to have Clar Rosso, who is the CEO of ISC2.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah, all the way from America to join us here in Singapore. So she's going to be sharing with us about the skills and the training and the certification landscape. So thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, Jane, thank you so much for having me here. So you want me to share a little bit about what's going
that's right.
on in cyber?
Yeah. So before we start, I just want to touch very briefly on the two panels that you were on earlier today, which is the critical infrastructure and as well as the woman in cyber. So that skills is a common theme, right?
It is a common theme. In fact, I would say if we looked at the top 3 cyber threats, and everyone across the globe agrees with, the one is the workforce and the skills gap. That is one of the top cyber threats we actually have globally.
Yes, that's right. And when it comes to skills and training and certification, ISC2 plays a very, very key role. But I have got to say that the landscape is quite diverse, right? There's all sorts of certifications. Some focusing on penetration testing, some on software engineering, right? Some on audit. And then, of course, you have the certification that is issued by the government agencies or by the vendors and by companies. So it's quite diverse. So where does ISC2 fit?
Well, you're right. The certification landscape is really diverse, and I think that is a great thing because I don't think any one organization can do it all. And for ISC2, we are 34 years old, and we have always stood for cyber defenders. So we are really about cyber defense, and we run our certifications. We have 9, and they run from entry level, no experience, are certified in cybersecurity that we can talk more about later, all the way up through CISSP, which is really the gold standard cybersecurity certification out there in the marketplace. But we do secure software lifecycle, we do security operations, we do architecture and engineering, and we really have governance, risk, and compliance, just a whole suite of certifications to serve the marketplace.
Yeah, so it's very diverse. And of course, ISC2 is a global organization, right? So you have sort of observations about the different kind of skills requirements or demands out there, and then also this kind of different skill sets that is possibly different around the world, right? Can you tell us a bit about that?
Well, so what is really interesting is I think across the global economies, so we have almost 600,000 members, candidates, and associates across the globe in more than 175 countries. I think we've lost count of how many countries we're in. And we are more similar than we are different across the globe. And I do think maybe depending on the size of the economy, the needs are different. But so we see a whole spectrum of needs on the technical side, and then we see very commonality of needs on non-technical and mindset skills. So we are looking in cybersecurity for good communicators, good problem solvers, people who desire to be lifelong learners, analytical and critical thinkers, creative individuals. And then on the skills side, it's sort of a wide range, but I would tell you that for the past 3 years, the top skill that we're looking for in cyber profession is actually cloud security.
Right, okay.
And the pandemic drove that. And then we're looking for expertise in zero trust implementation. We're looking for expertise in cyber operations and threat analysts, and you name it. You actually, when we look across the skill sets, we have gaps everywhere. And then, of course, AI is one of the new topics.
Yes, I'm going to ask you.
Okay, we'll talk about that later.
Of course, that is a mandatory question, really. Yes. So you just touched on the sort of like the technical skill set, right? Cloud security, for example. But there's also the soft skill set that you also mentioned during the Women in Cyber panel earlier.
Very important, very important.
And critical thinking, problem solving.
Yes, problem solving, critical thinking, analytical thinking, desire to learn. I mean, this curiosity for lifelong learning is really important when you have rapidly changing threats coming
That's
at
right,
you.
yeah.
So that's very important. The other things are things like ability to work in a team, as well as the ability to work alone, and communication skills.
Yeah, some of these skills obviously is something that we cultivate from young, right?
Yes.
So talk about some of your initiatives, cultivating some of these soft skills that
Okay.
with youngsters.
So we have two different things, and I'll first actually talk about something that we don't do quite as much of, but I think is really important. And just for us as an organization, we have to pick where is our most urgent priority, and frankly, our most urgent priority is getting qualified people in the workforce today. However, we also need to take a long-term view to cybersecurity, and we need to start teaching digital skills at a more early age. And so we actually, through our charitable nonprofit, the Center for Cyber Safety and Education, we send volunteers, we send cyber professionals into schools to teach a program called Safe and Secure Online. But it actually ends up and is teaching about those soft skills, like how to critically think about what's happening to me in this digital environment that I'm in. And I think the earlier we can start building that awareness, the better. And then long term, that's going to serve us too in terms of interesting people in the cyber profession.
Yeah, I agree, yes. And also you have a very sort of a long career outside of cybersecurity as well. Can you tell us about some of the lessons that you learned from that career and how it applies to cybersecurity in terms of skill sets you see,
Wow, that's great. So I do have a very long and varied career. I started my first job out of university. I was a sports reporter for a newspaper in California. And, but then I actually spent a lot of time in the not-for-profit sector working for the accounting and finance profession. And what I learned there that has served me very well working with the cybersecurity profession are risk management skills. I also have years and years of experience of working with technology. So hands-on participating in the implementation of technology projects, participating in the early days of websites and e-commerce on websites. And up to being executive sponsors of projects like a whole CRM replacement. And that whole time, those other skills that I have, that curiosity and wanting to learn, I just absorbed everything. Every time somebody from the IT team drew a picture of the network on the whiteboard, I paid attention. Every time somebody explained to me like what a business requirement was and how you need to think holistically about your ecosystem, I paid attention. And every time they said, you need to start with security in mind, not wait till the end, I paid attention. And that certainly has helped me very much as I've moved into this role.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, passion and curiosity mindset. I think it's like the common themes that people bring up when they talk about the essential skills in cybersecurity. So it's not just technical, is it?
Not at all. Not at all. And anytime you talk to a room full of cyber professionals, and you must experience this, you just see heads nod. I have cyber leaders tell me all the time, I would rather hire someone who is passionate, has a curiosity, wants to problem solve and learn, than somebody who is necessarily highly technical. But that helps.
Yeah,
technical still helps.
Definitely.
Technical's important.
That's why you have certifications,
That's
standards like ISC2, right? Okay. So talking about some of the initiatives that your organization is involved in. You have also some other initiatives, for example, with the CSA as well.
That's right. So one of our most exciting initiatives we launched just over a year ago, it's called 1 Million Certified in Cybersecurity.
Okay.
And that actually, the marketplace drove us to create that. When I was hired at ISC2, the chair of the organization was a CISO at a very, very large healthcare organization. And he said to me, he planted an idea. He said to me, if you could create a certification that would allow me to assess somebody's technical capacity to learn, he said, I would hire high school graduates who passed your certification, and then I would train them for what they need on the technical side. And that really was the birth of Certified in Cybersecurity. It is a no experience certification. It covers the foundational aspects of the core domains of cyber.
Right.
And we go to the marketplace. We talk to cyber professionals, we talk to businesses, we talk to people working in government and said, what would somebody need to demonstrate about security principles, about access management, about security networking, so that you would be willing to say, I'll take a chance on that person and I'll hire that person. So that's what our Certified in Cybersecurity is all about. And what we've learned is it has some other benefits as well. So we created it to create this door opening to move people into cybersecurity careers. And what actually has happened is, one, for individuals considering cyber careers, it's give them a flavor of the technical side of cyber, so they can say, is this for me? But the other thing, and this is where our partnership with CSA comes in, it also helps elevate the cyber literacy of people in adjacent careers. So people in finance and audit and IT and legal. And so our partnership for the new CSA Cyber Associates program is that we will work with them to put 10,000 individuals in Singapore through our Certified in Cybersecurity program, and that offers free education and a free examination to help put them and get them either build their cyber literacy for the careers that they're in, or possibly get them to consider cybersecurity as a career. And I'd like to add just one more thing, and why I'm so impressed with what CSA is doing is yesterday somebody from CSA said they estimate that full-time in Singapore, 12,000 people are working in cybersecurity on a full-time basis. They just committed to put 10,000 more through this program. It's amazing.
100%,
that is amazing. I don't know any other country that's doing that at that high level of commitment. So that is really impressive. It's really amazing, and we're so pleased to have the partnership with them.
So tell us more about this program. So how is it open to anyone that is, in high school or postgraduate, or
I think the plan is, so we just announced it, and so we are in the process of launching. But it really could be people that are in high school. It's people who are already in careers. That again, those professionals working in adjacent fields. Could be university students as well. But we may work with the universities. Your universities here in Singapore have wonderful cyber degree programs, and we can work with the universities to help embed that as well. And then, of course, when you have a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, it'll take you much further beyond our Certified in Cybersecurity, which is fantastic.
So is this, how long is the program? Is it some...
Well, I don't know, because I will tell you, when we launched 1 million Certified in Cybersecurity, we said it's going to take us 5 years. Well, in the first year, we signed up just under 300,000.
Wow.
And so I'm like, wait, this is moving way faster
it's
than
really
we
popular,
thought.
right?
So
it works really well.
It's really interesting. It could take 5 years. It could take 5 months. It will probably be longer than 5 months. But I mean, really, it could take 5 years. It could take 2 years. And it just really depends on the interest we generate. And I do think that we are beginning to see an increased understanding from professionals in all professions of the importance of cyber. We need to go further, but I think people are understanding, because of all the headlines that cyber makes, that this is important, and I probably need to know this even if I'm not officially a cybersecurity professional.
I think the older generation, like my parents' generation, are also, gaining an appreciation for, they need to be cyber safe, right? With all these phishing scams that's going on, especially in Singapore as well. So the awareness is definitely rising. So going back to the question about AI, right? Which is the necessary question. So how is AI going to transform the training landscape?
So this is just, there's so many different angles we can talk about. I want to talk about one aspect of AI, which is not AI security, so to speak. But if you think about AI, and AI, it's really artificial intelligence. It's been around a long time. It manifests itself in many different ways. We have machine learning. And so for us, with our training this year, we introduced adaptive learning, which is really machine learning in our CISSP training, in our CCSP, which is our cloud certification, and then we're going to add it to some others. And what that actually does, and it's pretty fantastic, is it has a combination of allows an individual to self-assess what their competence in a particular area is, and also based on their responses and their interactivity with the education, the program will move people along faster if they determine you understand this area.
Oh, wow.
And so when you think about, when you think you're studying for certification and we say it takes 40 hours, well, it takes some people 80 hours for CISSP. And if this is going to shave 25% of the time off your learning and allow you to sit for your exam more efficiently, it's a fantastic thing.
So it's really customized and tailored to each individual's...
Each individual's experience tailors it to them because, again, it's the machine learning does based on other people's performance, it makes recommendations to you, but you are also self-assessing at the same time, so it really does become very personalized. So that's one aspect of, in the education certification space, of how AI is going to help move us forward. Now, what is the world talking about when they're talking about AI, and they're talking about AI security? And so there is securing the tech of AI.
Yeah, there is.
And the great news is, from that perspective, there is considerations we need to make to say, how is this different? But when we talk about securing a product life cycle from conception, basically, until when that product exits the market, those are security principles that we already have hundreds of thousands of people that understand and know how to do. So we need to just put the security principles we know in the AI use case, and then understand, is there some tweaking we need to do? I think the other part of it that is going to be more complex and is probably going to end up requiring us to rely more on those non-technical skills is when AI is being used in the outputs of AI and in a cyber scenario, how are you going to evaluate the decisions that the AI is making for you and know, are those valid recommendations? Are they not valid recommendations? What happens? What's my risk if I accept that recommendation or I don't? And I think that's when the superpower of analytical thinking and problem solving, critical thinking is really going to come into play in terms of how we secure our businesses or our nations, because we need to make sure that if we're using AI to make decisions, that we're making good decisions.
I think there's going to be a need for a review of policies, right? To assess how much risk are we willing to tolerate that's coming from the outputs of this AI, right? And require manual intervention in some cases, right?
And if your AI becomes compromised, so you could have a totally pristine AI and it still doesn't make a great recommendation to you. But if your AI has become compromised, then that's just a new vector for threat actors to get at you. So it's a really interesting situation. But I think mostly what we hear out in the community nowadays is people are really thinking of AI as both opportunity and risk.
That's right.
And so understand that it's not like this one-size-fits-all answer. Is we really need to be purposeful about how we think about securing AI from all the different angles.
I think there's a lot of opportunities coming from this latest generation of AI technology, really. There's a lot of conversations around how it can increase the productivity of cybersecurity professionals, like, you know, in terms of generating threat intelligence report, right?
Right, making sense of all the threat intelligence.
That's right,
you can't, even if you're using one of the many wonderful technology providers that give you threat intelligence, no one can absorb all the threat intelligence that is available to them.
And summarize, you know, the key points, right?
And so if through different kinds of technology, of which AI will be a part, you can help make sense of that threat intelligence, that's a fantastic thing.
Yes, yeah. So I'm coming to my last question, really.
Okay.
So, you know, talking about AI and then looking at the skills landscape in cybersecurity over the last 2 decades, right? The question that many cybersecurity professionals have is AI going to take away my job, right? Your thoughts?
I don't think you have anything to worry about.
I agree.
But I think it's going to change. So our new workforce study is going to come out very soon, and it will say that there are now 5 million cybersecurity professionals around the globe. Fantastic news. We increased the workforce by like 8.7% this year. Well, demand increased by 12.6%. So we now have 4.5 million unfilled jobs in cybersecurity. So that's a massive gap to start with. I think what AI is going to do is it's going to help us not panic as much about the fact that we have such a big gap.
Yeah.
But I think what it's also going to do is it's going to shift what we think of as an entry-level job in cyber.
Exactly.
And that is
That's
work
right.
we need to do and things we need to prepare for. So as the machine takes away, and I saw this in accounting actually, as the machine takes away the entry-level work,
Yeah.
then people are coming into their careers at a different place. So how do we prepare cyber professionals for starting their careers at a different place than they have
right. Yeah,
historically
yeah.
for decades?
Yeah, that's
But the human is still necessary. I have not actually, other than a few technology providers, I haven't actually met anyone who believes that AI is going to replace jobs. It may change, your job may change as a result, but thankfully, our cybersecurity professionals love to learn,
Yeah,
and they're always curious.
Absolutely.
And so we have the totally right profile for them to be
prepare.
successful.
Right, yes. So when do you think that we should have a catch-up conversation to see how AI has changed the cybersecurity landscape?
I think
It's
even in
moving so
6
fast.
months.
I
think
agree.
even 6 months.
That's
Let's
right.
say-
It's
let's in
moved
this-
so
let's-
fast.
Let's in March. We
Yeah.
should talk again
Yeah, that's
because
right.
I think, I mean, it's really different than it was 6 months
Oh,
ago.
yeah. I totally agree.
And, yeah, 6 months.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
Great. That's the deal then. Thank you,
right.
Claire, for your time today. Thank you so
Jane,
much.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful to talk to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.